Finding one's fandom is a life-defining moment. It's that moment when you find something which you are super passionate about, and it's almost like a flash of lightning, a stroke of thunder. It shocks you to your core and makes you want to know more about this thing and get as much information and much of this thing as you possibly can. Whatever it is that you're addicted to. Anime, manga, movies, K-pop, music, fandoms of any type. Whenever you find it, it is a truly worthy moment to observe. What happens when a Yakuza finds his inspiration and fandom in the most unlikely place? Let's find out, shall we? Hello and welcome to an episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, and what's up? Hope you're doing good and hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode of this awesome podcast you can find at www.spiraken.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAKN and guarantee you find us one way or the other. And just letting you know, we're doing something a little bit different because some people have said that the opening is a little stale. That's why I got rid of the warning. And I'm also going to be adjusting some other things as well. Let me know your thoughts and if you like me not doing this, because I'm actually getting rid of the basic information of the manga. If you want to know more, you can always find out what it is, but I'm just going to get to the actual review at hand. So with that in mind, let's actually get to it, because if you remember that last episode, I spun that one that only the Wheel of Manga, and it dictated on reviewing a manga. Well, let's get to it. We're talking about The Yakuza's Bias, a manga that came out in 2021 to 2022, written by Teki Yatsuda, and this is a engaging, intriguing, and weird story of a man who finds his fandom in the weirdest spot. And our main character is a guy known simply as, well, Ken Kanashiro, and he is the second in command of the Wishino clan, and his life has changed forever, all due to the boss's daughter Megumi, because one day she shared with him something which inspired him and has made him completely nuts. And what are we talking about? The joys and wonder of a K-pop group. And this has inspired and made him completely crazy, because one day she decided to show him a video of her favorite band, MNW, My Night With. And he ended up falling madly and insanely inspired by June, one of the older members of the group, and someone who he feels is pretty badass. And why does he feel this guy is badass? Well, as he originally says, he looked the most committed to this hustle, like a man really should. And Megumi is like, you know what? You have potential. You could find the best you can be. And you know what we're going to do? I'm going to show you a documentary about how the band was found, and we're going to see what happens. And unfortunately, after watching this moment, he is changed forever. And he understands. And Megumi, who had just won 2 tickets to that night's concert, has invited Ken to see this concert. Front row. And he has decided that he is going to join on this excursion, because a true man's man would observe this man and see what's going on. And as he is there, in person, watching June and MNW in person, it's a life-altering moment. And crazier than that, for his first show, he's holding up a sign that shows his fandom, asking June to be his Aniki. And for those who don't know, if you're Yakuza, your Aniki is your higher up. He's your big bro. He's the guy that's going to train you to be the best you can be. And June actually looks at him. He can't read kanji, so he doesn't know what it says. But he says, "Is that for me?" And he actually takes it. So Ken has actual fan service from the person who has inspired him. And what has happened? He totally nerds out. And he decides, I will die for this man. This man is truly a man amongst men. Yes, my first loyalty is to the Wishio clan, but this man will guide me to be better, to be the best he can be. And he immediately goes to share with him the sake of encouragement, which apparently is a thing that Yakuza do, where they split a glass of sake amongst each other to show their sign of respect. While Megumi's like, what the hell are you doing? And this begins his odyssey into becoming a super K-pop stan for June and MNW. And it's crazy because he is totally nerding out about this. And he kind of goes off the deep end, as most of us would do whenever we get into a new hobby. He goes from the points of just using all of his money to buy every video possible, watching YouTube clips over and over and over again, to him actually spending absurd amounts of money on different merch for June. His employees are wondering what the hell's going on. This guy who'd only listened to Enka music is now listening to this one band over and over and over again, has tons of their albums, tons of their solo albums, and is doing all of this crazy stuff. Meanwhile, Megumi is slowly getting him more into this, getting him into the culture, dragging him in. And his one kohai sees this, finds out about this, and Megumi's like, why don't you come in? I can educate you. And he's like, no, we're good. And now it is his goal to usurp June in Ken's heart. And that's not all. This also goes into some of the other elements, like the fact that when you find someone who is also a fan of the group, but there's a difference, you get into stupid conversations. For example, getting into an argument with the boss's wife over who is better. If June is better, because he's the old guy who's been there forever, or if you're talking about Shiwu, who is the young kid, is the better person. And it's a stupid argument that you get into a fight with, and then you draw normies in. He's like, who's right? And they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And they have to put their perspective into it. And this is what occurs. Also, he ends up eventually becoming someone who's in the fandom as a popular person using X or Twitter under the very interesting pseudonym name of It's Yakuza. Instead of Yakuza, he's Yakuza, the June fan. It even gets more funny when other Yakuza members of different groups find out about his obsession, then they try to find out what's going on to usurp him or get some dirt on him, and they become stans of other members of MNW. So you have Yakuza members who are fighting who end up becoming friends through a weird sort of way. This is completely insane. It gets even more weird when he ends up surviving a bullet wound because of a CD he has. I am not making this shit up. This is a very crazy and unique story that is really weird. I'm not going to lie. It is a mix of most fans' journeys and Way of the House Husband. Where Way of the House Husband, it is the immortal dragon trying to do normal things while being very Yakuza-y. This is a Yakuza guy who is slowly converting into a stan and having all the stan or stalker fans mentalities. It prioritizing, you're going to go to the midnight show to buy the thing instead of doing the job. Or if he does the job, something goes wrong with with his fandom, or visiting the girl that he usually goes to visit at the local parlor, and she has one of the classic MNW keychains, and he nerds out about it. So this is essentially about being a nerd. It's also got a lot of Yakuza humor in it. It is very tongue-in-cheek. It's a little dry, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all. The manga itself is only 2 volumes long, but gotta say, it is a very fun, dumb thing. I'm not gonna lie. It is K-pop fandom explained easily. And for anyone who has been in a fandom, you are gonna love this. You're gonna get the jokes immediately. The whole progression from when you're just kind of tipping your toe into just jumping into the high end. And everyone has a fandom. Let's be honest. I'm a manga nerd. I'm a huge manga nerd. I also get into other fandoms as well, and when I kind of find out about them and I do get into the fandom, I kind of dive in head first. That's why I know way too much about Greek mythology, about photography, about RPGs, computer assembly, cooking, wine tasting, and a lot of other nerdy things, because I kind of jump into it. And that's what this is. This is about someone who is jumping into the fandom and learning about it. Now, if you are not a fan of slice of life stories, you might not find this interesting. Also, if you're not a fan of the whole Yakuza element, you might not like this either. But I say give it a chance. It's only 2 volumes. It's not bad. All of it's out. And I gotta admit, Kodansha did a great job with this release. And it is so weird to learn about it. I mean, especially with what's going on right now where everyone is listening to K-pop and they're kind of addicted to it. This is a fun little intro into what K-pop is and how that fandom works. And you kind of get an idea of why people go crazy over those special edition CDs with the, well, with the extra pictures in it. But I digress. So, art style is really good. Characters are kind of one-dimensional because besides Megumi and Ken, you have his subordinate, but then there's other characters that introduce themselves and they disappear. It is only 2 volumes, so it's not as built as other manga series. So it's not a big cast, even though there are tons of characters in it. It's just the ones that are developed are just Ken, Megumi. You have his rival who tries to kill him, then he becomes a fan of a different person, but then he gets inspired by Yakuza, and they become buddies on Twitter. Then they meet up, and it's like, wait, you were trying to kill me. Wait, you were trying to kill me. Are we now best friends? That kind of thing. So, for that reason, I'm going to have to give this actually a rating which you wouldn't expect. I have to give this a, well, Gift from a Crazy Aunt Muriel. It's okay. It's really good. It's really intriguing and engaging, but if you're not into the fandom and you're not into this, you're not gonna get it, and you're gonna be kind of bored by it. Also, like I said, it's only 2 volumes, so it does leave you kind of hanging and dry. I would like to see this adapted into a film or a TV series. I think it would be a great adaptation. But let me know what your thoughts are, if you agree with me or don't. If you don't, let me know. Email me at zansparkin.com or tweet me at Sparkin. Let me know your thoughts. And with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga question of the week, which is going to be, what music artist are you a stand for? Like, as you can see on my shirt, I am a huge fan of David Bowie. I wish I could have seen him in real life. I never could. Also, same thing with Meatloaf. Love Meatloaf, the artist. I am a fan of Chromeo and a few other bands as well, but I'm not super standy of it. But what music artist are you a stand for? Let me know. Email me zansparkin.com or leave a note down below. And with that in mind, let's actually get to the manga releases for the week, because we've got some fun ones this week. Starting off with 2.5 Dimensional Seduction, volume number 11. Then we had 365 Days to the Wedding, volume 4. This is a fun series that is very cool, and I'm loving the progression on this story. Then Akane Banashi, volume 7. Alpha Wolf Girl and Omega Wolf Boy. Ascendance of a Bookworm, I'll Do Anything to Become a Librarian, Part 3, Let's Spread Books Through the Duchy, Volume 2. By the Grace of God, Light Novel, Volume 13. Candy and Cigarettes, Volume 9. Classrooms of the Elite, the manga, Volume 11. Kimetsu Academy, Demon Slayer, Volume 3. Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimist Lord, Production Magic Turns a Nameless Village into the Strongest Fortified City, the manga, Volume 3. Failure Frame, I Became the Strongest and Annihilated Everything with Low-Level Magic, Volume 8 of the manga. How Heavy Are the Dumbbells You Lift, Volume 15. The series is still going strong. I Want to End This Love Game, Volume 3. Inside the Tentacle Cave, Volume 3. Kaze Hikaru, Volume 32. Killer Shark in Another World, Volume 1. This is literally Jaws as an isekai. Killing Stalking, Volume 7. Mushoku Tensei, Jobless Reincarnation, Volume 19 of the manga. My Cat is Such a Weirdo, Volume 4. My Hero Academia Team Up Missions, Volume 5. Pokemon Sword and Shield, Volume 10. Sakaro Saku, Volume 4. Seri Gensoki Spirit Chronicles, Omnibus Number 11, the light novel. Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle, Volume Number 15, or actually 25. Splatoon 3 Splatlands, the manga, Volume 2. Star Wars The High Republic, The Edge of Balance, Volume 3. Too Many Losing Heroines, light novel number 1. And then last and certainly not least, The Weakest Tamer Began a Journey to Pick Up Trash, number 7, the light novel. So which of these are you most excited about? Let me know. Email me, zansparkin.com. We got some really great titles, some really weird titles. There was a lot on here that I really was excited about, but the ones that top my list this week are going to be Too Many Losing Heroines, light novel volume 1. I caught the anime, and it's actually really good, so I want to read this to get into it. Killer Shark in Another World, let's be honest. It's Jaws as a light novel and a manga. So it could be kind of cool, and especially if this is a Jaws who goes through isekai worlds, eats people, and goes to other isekai worlds. But one guy can hope, right? Then we had I Want to End This Love Game, Volume 3. I've been hearing a lot of buzz about this series. I'm going to put this on the Wheel of Manga probably in the next couple of weeks. Alpha Wolf Girl and Omega Wolf Boy Volume 1 is one of those ones which looks kind of cool. It could be really bad. It could be very Omega-versy. I don't know, but we're going to see. And then last but not least, like I said, 365 Days to the Wedding is really well done. The manga was great. You can listen to my review of it earlier in the podcast, or you can actually check it out at most bookstores or watch the actual TV series Compass to the Wedding, which is on Amazon Prime, and it is really well done. But let me know. Email me at zansparker.com or tweet me at Spark and let me know your thoughts. And before we go any further, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for every message I get, every email I get, every comment I get, and just every new subscriber. I appreciate each and every one of you. You give me more motivation to keep doing this. So thank you so much. I'm going to want to keep doing this until an old man has to read manga with thick glasses, and more importantly, has to read them with very large print. I'm going to keep doing this as long as I can, so thank you for supporting me. Keep subscribing. Leave me comments. Go to the polls. I'm going to be releasing a bunch of new content. I officially, if you've looked, I've released the first of the panels, and people are loving it so much. Thank you so much for liking it. I really do appreciate it. It is well done, and I worked really hard to do the 30 manga recommendations for the last 30 years. I really worked hard to make sure it was perfect. There is 2 versions of it, and one of them did have Greta, and unfortunately, due to some errors, the audio was screwed up, so there are 2 versions. We fixed that for our next one, which I'm currently editing, which is the review for Happily Ever After, manga, Wedded Bliss in Marriage and manga. That one I'm currently editing, and if you notice that some of the systems and lights seem a little off, there's a very real reason for it. I recently got hacked, so I'm kind of trying to rebuild things, and some things were saved on my hard drive, but I had to re-edit it, get new programs, get security programs, so some things are going to be released a little late and behind schedule. So I do apologize about that. But that's a little behind the topic. We are back to normal. Everything is good. And with that in mind, let's actually get to it, because it's time for that part that you have all been waiting for. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Yes, friends, the Wheel of Manga, accept no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a Wheel of Fortune with 10 slots on it. What I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, the manga that's in that spot is the one I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 570. Can you believe it? 570 episodes of this awesome podcast. So let's spin and review, see what we're going to review, shall we? Number 9, what did you eat yesterday? Oh, this one I've talked about for a while, but we actually have not reviewed. So, guess we're going to be talking about that. So, is it going to be good? Is it going to be bad? Well, let's find out. But anyway, as usual, thank you so much for listening and watching. I'm your host, Zan. I'm Gonzville. Catch you guys next time, and keep reading manga. See you later.